You're not revealing the secrets tonight?
Oh, I forgot them. Secret, because there is no secret.
Oh, this wouldn't go.
There is no key because there's no lock.
Is that what you told Gurumayi?
No.
No, when she
No,
was,
but
when
Ramesh.
she was locked out of her.
Oh, Ramesh said, no, I never did that. Didn't fuck with Gurumayi. Keep it straight. Now, Ramesh and I, we joked a lot. So that would have been fine. He would have enjoyed it. Yeah, no, so I was just talking to Alan. Alan came very early, and we used to give some talks up in Flagstaff at his house. And Alan's been at it a long time. He's a meditation teacher, so I was telling him, he was like, he was telling me how he's being earnest, and he's, really on it, and he is. But I reminded him that it doesn't take much effort to be who you are. You see? And the only one who doesn't know who you are is the one who you are not. And if the one who you are not gets to realize who you are, it doesn't matter. So, you already are who you are. You already are this essence of everything. This thing Baba said, God dwells within you as you. He said that essence is within you. It's within everybody. From the mind, it seems far away. It seems like something you need to get to. But that's only because you're looking at it through a mind. So, if the mind could just be quiet for a while, everything would be quite simple and obvious. You see, so that's why a lot of teachers teach meditation, etc. So that maybe some grace would happen, and there'd be enough stillness for you to realize that, oh, there is a stillness. The mind's very busy, thinking this and thinking that, and then you have this feeling and that feeling, and then you have this thought and that thought, and then you want to do this and you don't want to do that, and it just goes on. It goes on, and you see it's entertaining. So it's like, I was talking to Alan, he says, well, I don't understand. Why isn't everyone a spiritual seeker? Why doesn't everyone get this, And I said, well, imagine what it'd be like if you were watching, a television show, and one of the actors all of a sudden went, hey, what is this? I'm just reading lines, there's lights and cameras, this isn't even real, and walks off the set. That wouldn't be any kind of show. Most people are doing their part in the illusion and making it seem as real as possible. That's the idea. If you go to a movie, you want to sit down, maybe enjoy some popcorn, and watch it beginning to end. and laugh at the right times, cry at the right time. You know, have all the feelings and enjoy the movie. And you go afterwards, you go, that's great. There's very few people in the middle of the movie are going, how do I get out of this room? And for those people, I am speaking today. This is your exit program. Apparently, we've had some pretty rotten movies. And they just haven't been as effective as they have for other people. So how do you get out of this? It's only a short time. And then you're back to where you were before you were born. And you see, so when the identification, personal identification arises, you see, this idea of me, you lose your perspective, because that essence that we are is universal, and a me is individual and separate. So that universal sense becomes veiled in this sense of me. And the sense of me is only a temporary phenomenon. It only lasts for about a lifetime or so, you know, unless you get to be a ghost. Maybe it goes a little longer. But even ghosts have their limit, you know. There aren't any dinosaur ghosts that I know of. They're all gone. So, so everything's fine. You are who you are. Nothing can change that. If you realize who you are, you're not all of a sudden more of who you are. And if you don't realize who you are, it's not like you're less of who you are. We all are exactly who we are, 100%. And personal realization of that, or not, isn't really relevant. It doesn't affect the percentages of reality. Reality is still reality. Even if something that is an illusion doesn't understand that. So you see, it's this personal identity that keeps you veiled from knowing your true essence. So when it comes up, when the mind is thinking this and that, I recommend you don't take it too seriously. And certainly don't take it personally. You know, why go through life worrying about what other people think about you? Why go through life worrying about what you think about you? Let those thoughts just come and go. They don't matter. They don't matter. The thing is, you need a mind to function in this world with the body. It's very, very useful, especially if you need to get to work, or if you need to see for whatever you need to do in life. A mind is a very useful tool. But a carpenter has a hammer. If the hammer thinks it's in charge, the carpenter just laughs, puts it on the shelf. Go ahead. You see? You should be that way in your own life. When you catch yourself in the illusion of being in charge of things, it should be amusing. can enjoy it. God's in charge. So, there was this nuclear scare in Hawaii. The alarms went off, and in Hawaii we have the whole island is hooked up with, in case of tsunamis, in case of the enemy attack. And the enemy attack one went off, and everyone hears it, and it's early in the morning, and people are running for their lives. And, what do? There's no, like you were saying, there's no basements in Hawaii. No one house has a basement. There's nothing. What are you going to do? Hide in a bathtub? What are you going to do? It's like, so but people were freaking out all over the place, and so talked to my friend, Joel, my doctor there, and so Kelly asked him, "What did you do?" He said, "Well, I was making breakfast when the alarms went off, and the announcement came on my cell phone that we're imminent nuclear attack, and he thought about it for a minute, and he said, well, there's not a damn thing I can do about it, might as well have breakfast." So, you see, you think things are in your hands, but in a second, everything can change, and no fault of your own. It just happens. That's how life is. So, it's good to keep your perspective on things, you see. And it's helpful when you go through your life to remember who's really in charge here, you see. If you do that, it diminishes the me. The sense of me, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm in charge. When you realize in your just daily functioning that really you're not, that really God's in charge. You may be making plans and making decisions, but you're not in charge. How many times have you made plans that just didn't happen? That should be your proof. You should be able to see, ooh, maybe I'm not in charge. You see, and as that happens, as you get more of a sense that life and all of this is a matter of God's will and not personal will, then the me is diminished. If the me is diminished enough, then it starts sinking below the veil, and you can see what was always here, you see. That really, although the mind is thinking this and thinking that and doing this and doing that, and the mind is feeling that, and this is all going on, and blah-da-da-da, once it sinks down, what's left is a place of complete silence, of stillness. Yeah. Peace, even. You see, the mind's not a very peaceful place. The mind is very active all the time. And you can be sitting there meditating, it doesn't even matter. Still thoughts come. It's like, damn. They come anyway. I always picture it like we're all radar dishes, and God's just having fun throwing out all these different thoughts. And if our radar dish is attuned to a particular thought, it picks it up. And then you have this boom. Oh, I should do, and you see, and then it gets pursued. That thought then gets pursued. You go, oh, well, then I should do that. Oh, I didn't like that. That didn't feel good. I should never do that. Why did I do that? And it goes on. You see, it gets pursued. So Ramesh used to say, the difference between a yogi and a bogi, a yogi being a yogi, a bogi being a normal person. In a normal person, in a bogi, a thought arises and it's pursued. But in a yogi, the same exact thought may arise, but it's not pursued. You see, then The process is different. So when a thought is pursued, let's say someone looks at you funny and then you start thinking, well, why would they do that? Oh, remember you said that thing? You should have said that. Why did you say that stuff? Now look, she's all pissed off and this is going on, da 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 da. And all these emotions and feelings are going on around it. Okay, for a yogi, same exact thing. Person looks at you funny, you say, oh, that's all. It just stops. You don't have all the interplay, all the different thoughts, all the different judgments, all the different and so you live basically in peace with a little hiccup here and there. A thought arises still, but it's just not pursued, so it doesn't matter. You see? So more and more, you see, I'm giving you these concepts. And of course, you see, this is from a mind to a mind. So you can see the flaw in that. I'm giving you these concepts that are useful tools for diminishing the mind. Not for eliminating the mind, just for diminishing its stature. Right now, your mind's in charge of your life, and that's you. These are your thoughts and your feelings. This is what you did and what you didn't do, and this is what you did well and what you did poorly, and this is what you like and what you don't like. And all this is this world, this individual world of preferences and feelings and thoughts and judgments and all of that. So what we want to do is let all that stuff go on over here and don't bother with it. Let it go on, don't fight it, but diminish its authority. It's no longer in charge. The mind thinks it's in charge of your life. That's funny, because God's in charge of your life. The first nuclear bomb that lands will teach you this.
Or someone dying.
Well, either, yes. There's all kinds of things in life that teach you this, and then you try and forget. Because you know what the mind doesn't like? Not being in control. You know why? Because then it feels fear. A funny thing about that. The mind's trying to avoid feeling fear. But really, if you're a dust speck living on a dust speck, what do you think the natural feeling would be?
You know what, Ananta? For me, it's like most of the emotions and the thoughts, they just come and go, and that's pretty easy to not pay attention to those. But physical pain is a really new thing to work with. The kind that's unrelenting, where it I know that, okay, there's still this body-mind. So the body-mind just keeps wanting you to do something about this, flashing red light, which is called excruciating physical pain. So you can do all these different things with it. You can do Lama's breathing, which now I know why they teach that to women. So it focuses you, where you can ask yourself, who am I? And then you disappear for a moment, including all, then there's no pain for a second. But the body is still freaking out. So it's like every second you're being attacked by excruciating physical pain. So, how do you work with that? There's no one there, I know. But do you feel it when the body is in excruciating physical pain?
Well, for me, I don't experience it the way you do. I don't focus on it the way you do.
Right, right.
So,
if you focus on it, it gets worse.
so like it was like, you see, when Nisargadatta was dying of cancer,
Right.
throat cancer, one of the disciples said, "Oh, Maharaj, it looks like you're in great pain." And he said, "Yes, there is great pain." You notice the difference.
Yeah.
He didn't say, "I am in great pain."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The disciple said, "It looks like you are in great pain."
Yeah.
But he said, "There is great pain."
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's the distinction. When you're personally involved, when it's you in pain, well, then you're in an urgent situation. You see? Your situation has now become primary focus. Okay? Because, first of all, pain is there to draw the attention, because, so if you cut your finger
Yeah.
and you go, "Oh, look at this, I didn't know blood squirted like that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun." And then you bleed to death and die, right?
Yeah.
No, the pain tells you this is urgent, you need to take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're getting some of that. You're getting this thing that it's designed to take your attention, you see?
Yeah, exactly.
And it does. So you know, pain is a sensation. Your mind naturally determines that it is a bad thing.
But I'm working with it just as a sensation inside this awareness.
Yes,
So it can be that for a second,
yes.
but then the intensity of it just pulls you right from awareness
Then
right back.
what you do when it gets more intense is you see if you can withstand that. You see, and obviously you have, you're still here. Okay?
Yeah.
So you see, and then if you can, well, then there's no problem. You know, you see, so Ramesh, he had to have his appendix out. And, you know, he for some reason, he just asked the doctor if he wouldn't mind doing it without anesthetic. And, you know, it's India, and somehow the doctor said, "Well, we can try, but I have the anesthetic right here." And so Ramesh told me, he said, it was very intense, the pain. And he said, and then it got even more intense. He was really surprised. It got worse and worse. And then it didn't get any worse. It plateaued off. And he figured if he could tolerate that level, and he was okay. And he did the whole surgery without it. You see, I do dental work without it.
Yeah.
Lately, I've had it lately. I don't know, I've had the anesthetic, but, and I would, you know, if a tooth was pulled or something. But if it's just a normal cavity, I don't bother with it. So it's like, and it's like that. You can feel it. And you know, the mind is, if the mind were going, oh, no, I don't like this, oh, like that, then you better get the anesthetic then. You see? But if the mind's not doing that, then it's like an unpleasant sensation. It's more like something that is not pleasurable. It's ill at ease. It's difficult. You see? But you know, that's how I experience life. Some days are great. Some days are difficult. Could you move just a little that way? Thanks. So, some days are just, you know, so like I don't say I've had a bad day, it was just difficult. A lot of difficult things weren't working out, it was more work like that. You see, so you have a difficult day. You have these sensations. Now you see, you probably like Kelly. Kelly, anything goes on with her body, she just puts so much attention on it that it's like it magnifies it. Now it's like Godzilla.
I'm more like the opposite.
Oh yeah?
I like tend to really ignore things until there's such a bad problem that you really have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you know, like that you can't walk or
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
I'm the same way, but mine's partly occupational hazard. But however you deal with it is the way you deal with it. Okay. There's the only thing to realize is that it's just a sensation, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't do anything about it. The best thing you can. Whoa, look, my hip hurts. I take some Advil. It usually does the trick. You see? So that's not a problem. And here's the deal. We're getting older.
That's for sure.
And
I noticed.
with that comes more aches and pains. And eventually one of those aches and pains are going to kill you.
And probably more surgeries. I mean.
Yeah, well, yes, of course. Because the warranty starts running out in your parts, and you have to go to the repair shop and get them fixed. Until patch, it doesn't work anymore. You see? So that's all. It's just a part of getting older. It's like, so what? So what? You don't have to get older. I was talking to Kelly, she has all these medicines she takes. And I say, they're poison, don't you? And she goes, what are you talking about? They're medicine. I said, well, you take any one of those pills and take 20 of them. See what happens. They're poison. So, just take it in stride as much as you can. It could be a lot worse. You seem to be functioning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're smiling.
Yeah.
You're doing all right.
I'm just amazed, that there's actually no magic bullet other than asking yourself, who am I? And then all the pain disappears for a second. So if you do that
there's plenty of magic bullets other than that. you just haven't resorted to them yet.
Well, I don't quite want to die yet if I have
No,
anything.
I was thinking about opioids, but yes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, no, they didn't even touch it.
Yeah, oh.
No, I tried it, and I tried it.
You didn't have the good stuff.
I was convinced of that. It's like, they made the medicine wrong. I know, it's not working. Yeah, no, I guess so. The only thing that I know what to do is deep breathing, and you just wait till it passes. Or, your body is resisting it because your body's out of control. Your body has gone into major muscle contractions, just because the body is not liking what's going on. You can't even control.
Well, it's responding to what's going on.
Yeah, you can't even control the muscle
Right.
contractions. So the only thing you can do is you can just breathe into it, or you can ask yourself who you are, and then everything, including the pain, disappears into oneness for a second. So if you do that every second,
Yeah.
That's the only things I know what to do.
Yeah, well, don't use the true wisdom as a drug.
It's better than the opioids.
No, but what I'm saying is, just accept the pain.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
Yeah,
You see, so you're talking about how your body resists it,
okay.
and your mind is resisting it too. And you're trying to find ways out of it.
Yeah.
Well, God says here, He's handing you a banquet of pain, and you're going, no! Why not just accept it? It's just pain. What's it going to do? Kill you? Well, eventually, but not now. So it doesn't matter. You see, you just accept it. This is being offered. Okay, sometimes you're offered pleasure, and you go, oh, goody, goody, thank you so much, God, thank you so much. Then God gives you pain, and you go, what the hell is this? How do I get rid of it? Why not treat it the same? Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. God can be an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working with that surrender thing too, but it's like your body has a mind of its own.
Ooh, doesn't it?
The body just, doesn't want this thing that's happening, right?
Right.
Now the mind, of course, you can.
The mind and the body are very much connected. Really, trust me. You don't want a body without a mind, and you don't want a mind without a body.
Right.
Okay? They're a set. Ramesh used to call it the body-mind apparatus. It's like mechanism.
Yeah.
Thank you. He used to body-mind mechanism just to make it sound as mechanical as it is. You see, but so they come as a set. The two are buds. They're the same. So when you say mind and all the things the mind is going through, just know the body's right there with it. Okay? And the mind is serving the body. And the body needs the mind, you see? So that's all, because you'd just be a vegetable without it. Anyway, it's okay. Just enjoy it. Why do you pick and choose what you're going to enjoy in life? Why do you say, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, and oh, this sucks, I don't want it, get it out of here? You see, you have pleasure and you have pain. You see, you think they're separate, but they can't be separate. They're together. They're just the yin and the yang of the whole. Each are irrestrictably linked. Pleasure, pain. They're part of the same deal. If you only had pleasure, you wouldn't even know what it was. Pain is what tells you what pleasure is, because it gives you the contrast. If everything were pleasure, then there'd be no contrast. That's why you don't know who you are, because you're everything and there's no contrast. So you can't find it. So just see, as an experiment, welcome whatever comes. Whatever comes. The same. Pleasure, welcome it. Pain, welcome it. Welcome it all identical, like it's the same thing, because you know it is. Here you may not know, but it is. You may have your preferences still. You're welcome to your preferences. I mean, you don't have to say, oh, I want pain as much as I want pleasure. No, that would be a lie, wouldn't it? But you welcome them the same. You accept them the same. You just accept whatever comes. All kinds of things come in life. Some of them are pleasurable. Some of them are painful. But they come. And you know what happens with each of them? They pass. So it's not like it's forever. It's not like you're feeling great and that's forever. And it's not like you're feeling crappy and that's forever. These things come and go, because that's the nature of this temporal universe here. This world is a world where everything is temporary. Okay? If you want to find something permanent, then just let the mind shut down for a while and you'll see it. You see? So try it as an experience, instead of saying, oh, who am I? As this opioid that works like 3 seconds. Just say, bring it on, God. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I think my friend has gotten to that point where the pain is so intense that she's not even working with it.
No.
It's just, she's just surrendered and just bears it.
Yeah, that's all you can do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and you just accept life, period. Not conditionally. You don't find the things that you like and say, oh, I can accept this. That's easy.
Right.
Take the things that you don't like and accept them as well. And then you have you see what that does is, it steadies out the whole scene. So right now, you're living in personal world of, I like this, I don't like that. I like this, I want this, I don't want that. How do I get rid of this when this comes because I don't like it? How do I keep this because I do like it? And it goes on, bum, bum, bum. You're like a living...
I can't live from that place. It's too painful.
Well, a lot of people do live from that place, and you are living from that place.
In the physical pain realm.
In this, you see?
It's a whole new realm.
Well, it's all it is like, like I say, you've done all the easy stuff. Well, there's some hard stuff you haven't done yet.
There sure is.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you see, this is bringing that up for you.
I'm glad this is happening before the moment of death. I mean, it could be worse. I mean, you could be at your death and not have any experience with pain.
Well, and then it just gets dealt with either way.
And then you die, so it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't really matter, yeah. So don't worry. Everyone has their own path. Your particular path is one where if you find this place where everything is equal, then you won't struggle anymore. You see? The struggle in life, the difficulty in life, is this personalization and the sense that you want this and you don't want that, and you like this and you don't like that, and being guided by those thoughts and feelings into a world of pushing and pulling and liking and not liking and judging and all of these different things, and then you struggle, you see. So why not just welcome everything equally? Oh, that feels good, I like that. Oh, I don't like, oh, that's terrible. But you just welcome it all the same. It just comes and goes and comes and goes, or maybe it stays for a while. Maybe the pain stays for a while. Fine, whatever. Everything's fine. So I was in the hospital, 5 or 6 years ago now. And, I didn't even think about it, being in pain. I didn't know. I was just being with whatever. All I knew is it was different. It was different. I said, well, this is different. I've never had this experience before.
Yeah.
They had me all hooked up and CPAP on. I couldn't talk. Right? Finally, I communicated with Kelly to give me a pen so I could write down what I wanted to say. And I wasn't strong enough to hold the pen. I had no idea. Felt like Kelly still has the papers. Just like, come on. But you see, I had no idea.
Because you weren't identified with the body.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I had no idea that things were that bad. So you see, you just experience everything. Just welcome it, whatever it is, you see? Even if it's death. Fine. Whatever it is, you just welcome it. Welcome your whole life. Welcome all of your experiences. It doesn't mean that you have to personally like them, but just welcome them. Because what is this? This illusion is brought to you by God. If there were commercials, they'd be God. And it's so here you're just enjoying some show. And this is part of the show. So why begrudge yourself that? Why try and change it? It's just what it is. You know, but like I said, when my hip hurts, I take some Advil. So you do these things. You see? That's all.
It's like Rumi's guest house, in other words. Welcome, my friend.
Yes.
Hello, I know you.
Yes.
Come in for dinner.
So be Rumi.
Yeah.
Be that for yourself. Just be that for your experience of life.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. It's very easy to do when things are going well. When things are going well, yeah, welcome, 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 welcome. When things aren't going well, it's like, hey, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for. You see, but that's such a personal way of looking at life. You see, everything comes and goes. You know, the moment you're born, death is the next step. You know it is. Everything born dies. They come as a set. And yet you spend your life fighting death. It's weird. It's going to come. It's going to come. In every case. It's guaranteed. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome it all. Enjoy it while you can enjoy it. Personally. Why not? Just enjoy it. Enjoy not enjoying it. Enjoy all of it. Okay? It's like, okay, you have some pain, it means you're alive.
I mean, I marvel, you know, that at 63, it's my first, I mean, this year is my first major experience of physical pain. I mean, some people, you get born with a heart defect and that's your whole experience of life.
Well, yeah, but you see those kids, they all do really good. You ever see them? Interviewed and stuff, they're okay.
They're pretty amazing.
Yeah, you see, because they're young enough not to be locked in all these concepts and all these things. And it's happened early enough that they don't have this contrast of feeling good for 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
You see? So it's like, don't worry about this. Really don't. Just welcome it as much as you can. And when you can't, just watch that and enjoy all of it.
I think I was hoping that you had a magic bullet or something like that.
I just gave it to you.
Yeah, exactly. That is the magic bullet. Rumi's guest house.
So yeah,
Yeah.
this it's just part of life. Really, it is.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing that.
Yeah, and it will get worse, you see.
It will get worse.
Oh yeah, it'll get worse.
I know the trajectory of this.
You know, you only have a cane right now.
I know.
You can have a scooter chair, you know? It's like, so don't worry, you're doing great.
Yeah.
And canes are cool anyway.
Yeah, they're all right.
No, they're cool.
A little overrated.
You
Yeah?
know, I'm beginning to feel sorry for Kelly because she probably gets no compassion from me.
Oh, she complains about that all the time.
I can just see her, oh, my head, it's killing me. Oh, I'll give you a secret.
No, I would never do that. Oh, no. But it's more like, whatever. You know, I have some, I'm sorry, you know, blah, 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 but they're just pleasantries, right? You know, but it's true. She knows. And she knows. She's not going to get that from me. But, you know, all that, what does that do? It just feeds it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It
so
does.
it's like, you know, I don't know, she had friends, you know, she could call them. But I don't think they want to hear it either. You see? Because we're married, I have to listen to her a lot. But
Oh, let's get
but
married.
mostly what I do is I just go to the office while she's talking, If it goes on long enough, you see. I think I got the gist of it, okay.
Whoa, gotta work now.
I don't even go through that formality. Sorry, I'm in the office, can't hear you.
The joys of married life.
Yeah, Kelly said, if people only knew how hard it is. I said, well, why don't you come to the dog and tell them?
Well, you can tell her now we know.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know the half of it.
I've seen a little bit over the years.
Well, she does have one thing. She gets to be accepted unconditionally. So, there's a trade-off.
That's huge.
That's what they say. Unconditional acceptance is overrated. Not really. It's worthwhile.
We gotta record this.
I gotta record it.
We've gotta have this one. That's how it works.
Yes. Well, one of them should work.
Yay.
Question.
Good.
So, I've met people who I feel really, truly are good at being in this neutral place. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I wonder, because when I'm with you, it also seems like there's this joy, there's this, it seems, it's like not neutral, it doesn't feel neutral.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if maybe that's just these moments and that's what happens, or is that part of what comes through the depersonalizing?
Well,
Or-
you see what it is you're feeling. With this neutral, and what you just said, depersonalizing, sense comes a sense of peace.
Sure. Yeah.
And in that sense of peace, there's, it's like easy, and you get that sense, you see. You get that, so that becomes more palpable, you see. Peace is like, I felt it with my gurus. You know, and I labeled it like they were in bliss, like they were happy. But it's different when it's not personal, you see. So because I had always experienced happiness as a personal thing, but my gurus, unbeknownst to me when I was a seeker, were experiencing this bliss, this happiness in an impersonal way. So then it becomes something that's like endless supply and not temporary, permanent, like it's always there, you see? So it's just a reflection of what it would be like to move out of your bubble, your personal bubble, you see? And then you say you have friends that have this, but you know, I'll bet you it has boundaries. I'll bet you it has limits, you see? And so like, people are able to keep their peace as long as their situation remains within certain parameters. If it goes beyond that, they freak out. You see? That'd be normal. Mm-hmm. So when the depersonalization happens in earnest, and we call it enlightenment, when that happens, there are no boundaries. So, whatever, anything could happen. It wouldn't matter, nothing could disturb that peace. You see? Anything. Okay, so that's, so it has a different quality, more of an endless supply and, bottomless. I just want to say it's eternal. It doesn't have that limitation at all. That's all. And so you experience it as laughter and joy, whatever it is, you see.
It's just those lurking conditions for people, for the rest of us.
Well,
make the difference.
living in your mind, everyone has conditions. Everyone you meet has conditions. I mean, my cats may love me, may love Kelly, but I'm telling you what, you don't feed them, they got conditions. Everyone has conditions, you see. And that's the nature of personal identification. There's still a me in it, and the me has certain rules, even if they're limited. It's just the nature of it. It feels like joy. I know it did with my gurus, but I now know that it's not the same. It's just a byproduct, really. It's a byproduct of this lack of personal identification. Then you're just resting in the moment, just that sense of being, and that has certain side effects. You see.
Compassion being one of those two, I guess.
Yeah, you could call it compassion, but it's still not personal. Of course, though. So like, yes, it arises. You see, just spontaneously in different situations.
It's not cultivated.
Or contrived, or in any way, it just arises on its own, because it's just, look, I say it almost every talk. We are one. You see me talking to you, and you talking to me, okay? All there is some talking going on. Oneness fills the room. Our essence is identical, totally identical. You came from the exact same place I came from. You are going to the exact same place I'm going. We may look different. We may have different bodies, different thoughts. All of these things are temporary. But our essence, that is eternal, is identical. Everyone here. There is no one here. All there is oneness in this room. That's all there is unicity. There are appearances of distinctions and differences, and they're all temporary. What will last and what is truly here is the eternal being You can't put a word to it. You know why? Words are small. What I'm talking about is universal. It's everything. You can't possibly find a word that can touch everything. Words are used to delineate distinctions, but in truth, really there are no distinctions. There's only this appearance right now. So you see, it's not even compassion. It's just, there's no sense of separation, there's oneness. So it's like, it's so easy. It's not effort. It's like, of course, we're all the same. You know, it just is a sense of unicity with whatever. Even if it's pain, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. But there's always this sense of oneness, you see? So when the me is no longer at eye level, when you rise above the sea level of me, then you see the whole world. You're connected with everything. And the me is just something that's operating over here. And maybe you need to attend to it. Like, you know, the me says, I think I need to take a pee. Okay, you take care of that. You take care of all the worldly things. But that's not you. That's just a sideshow. That's just some TV that someone left on in the background. That's not you. You are eternal. You have no beginning, you have no end. You were never born, you can never die. We are all one, period. We're all the same. I'm okay. I'll let you know. So stay awake. Yes.
We're talking about, you know, the duality of pleasure and pain, light, dark. I understand, you know, the duality of that they're one. It's just, that's what we live in, this duality. We're talking about pain. I won't call pleasure actually a static state. It's like chanting. That can actually fortify our being, right?
Fortify?
Yeah, like our inner body, the ka body, the spiritual body. It can strengthen those states, right?
It's like a reminder. You see? So it's a reminder, when you become totally focused on God through chanting, meditation, whatever it may be, you're focusing on that essence, you see? And if you're good at it, and 100% of your attention is there, it works as a reminder of home. Okay, but understand, your personal experience of it is temporary, because everything personal is temporary. Okay? So you can chant, have this personal reminder, and what it can do for a spiritual seeker is give you the guideline of what it is that you are actually seeking, you see? It helps the mind come into alignment, and it's useful. Ultimately, there's nothing you can do to get closer to being who you already are. Okay?
Right, but what about the experience of being who you really are?
The experience is personal. Okay? That's the thing you bring. It's still personal. It's okay. I'm not saying don't do it. But recognize that you're talking about a personal experience. So now I had this experience. This is great. How do I get it again? How do I keep it? You see, me is still there. When me is not there, that experience is all there is. So here's the thing. You do this chanting. You have this ecstatic experience of connectedness with oneness, right? Now, what is it that takes you away from that experience staying with you all the time? It's the me, laying claim to it, saying, this is my experience, you see? Now, Baba let everyone play with that. That's fine. Gave people something to talk about, and maybe helped certain people understand certain things, no problem. But ultimately, the truth is not a personal experience. Because if it was, it would be so confined. It would be in a tiny little prison. You see? The truth is something that just is. You see? It just is, and there's nothing you can do to bring it to you. All you can do is get out of the way and let it be. And that's really the key. Once you're out of the way, that's all there is. Ramesh's disciple, the successor to his lineage, Wayne Lickerman. Wayne wrote this book. It's called No Way, and he signed it for me. And he said, I went by the name Ed because Ramesh didn't like the name Ananta. He said, you have a perfectly good English name. Anyhow, so he wrote, to Ed, who is always in the way. So, understand, so I'm just taking it on a deeper level. Those personal experiences can be useful in terms of getting your energy aligned with your intention, okay? That's all right. But ultimately, you have to get out of the way. And if you do, so I feel, in fact, my experience was that sense of oneness just overcame me. This sense of being, this sense of, there's no word for it, just being, was overwhelming. And the me did its normal thing and said, "That's it." And nobody cared. The me could not take the attention away from that experience. The one thing that you'll notice is your mind is incapable of being in the moment. Your mind is only capable of taking that experience away. So when you have this experience of stillness, of oneness, of just being, and the mind goes, "That's it," it's gone. You are now living out of your moment into a very confined world, a little prison that we call me. That world had no boundaries. There were no walls. There were no limits. It was so awesome that you couldn't even explain it. And when you tried to explain it, it was gone. And then it became something in the past, not something in the present. You see? So what you want is your mind to be diminished enough that when that moment comes, the me trying to claim it just doesn't hold anything. The me can try and claim anything it wants. Who cares? You see? And then what happens is that overwhelming sense of presence, of love, of being is in the forefront. And the me, that sense of separation and being an individual and a body, is in the background. It still goes on to some extent, but it's not anything compared to this. It's minuscule. So then you're basically living exactly the way you lived before, but there's no one personally involved with this particular life. It still goes on, but no one gives it the gravitas of being anything compared to this. You see? So
that's just going to be a function of grace.
Absolutely it will, because if it was in your hands, you would have already done it.
Or the guru would have done it.
Well, you can claim.
Right.
I mean, the gurus all claim their gurus did it, yes. You see, and that keeps it out of trouble. So you see, Baba was like everything, Sagarnath, Maharaj, Kiche. He's like constantly giving it, never taking it. You see? So he didn't get caught in that, right? Especially in his position, where everyone thinks he's giving it. You see? So he didn't need to do that.
He gave something.
Yes, but you see, there was no one personally involved in that, and that's why it had the energy that it had. You see? So it's all right. You see, there's this illusion that goes on where the disciple thinks the guru has it, what they want, and they want to get it from them. And it's just a game that goes on. But there's no difference between the guru and the disciple. And that's the final realization. And then what happened? Baba was Nityananda. There was no difference. They were identical. There was no more Muktananda. There was no more individual there.
Yeah, I understood that he wasn't giving me anything. It was just awakening something.
Yes, and he said that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
So, but I wanted what they had. I wanted to be happy like they were.
Oh yeah. That was the model.
That's what I wanted, you see. But in fact, all that happened was a merging. I came to realize that there was no difference. You get 3 for the price of 1 here.
So Ananta, dovetailing on Michael's question, those experiences, do they, whether it's chanting or the experiences that we might have when the mind settles down in meditation, that's where it reminds us or we have a taste of it, but does that sort of open the channel or fertilize the ground for when that grace comes? There's, something there?
What I found is that it was really helpful. Here's the thing, you see, so here, you believe that you're an individual. You believe that you are you, your thoughts, your feelings, and etc. Then some dumb guru comes along and says, hey, that's bullshit, give it all up. And it's like, okay, yeah, right, I'm going to give up everything. My entire world, my entire existence, everything I believe is true, for what? And then you have this spiritual experience. And you go, oh, that's what's for. Okay, now I get it. So you see, so it gives you the personal experience of what it is that is worth giving up everything for.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So it's useful for that.
Okay.
And necessary for that. Otherwise you're not going to take the risk.
Yeah.
You see? It's a big risk. It's a huge risk. What I heard Baba saying when I went to India the first time, which I didn't like at all, is that enlightenment is like committing suicide while in the body. I didn't like that. In fact, I hated it. But it was, and other people listened to his talks and didn't hear that. But that's what I heard.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, he was in India, not in America. No, in America he was like Santa Claus. You go to India, he's like, tough shit, you're with me now. So, anyhow, that's what I heard. And, but that was correct, you see. And so you see, ultimately, in order to have everything, you have to give up everything that you think you are, because you're nothing of what you think you are. You see? Yeah.
I got a feeling what Indigo's asking is like, in other words, if you're just a bogey doing nothing, is that really going to open a channel for grace? Or if you're a yogi seeking that,
Well, we're going to go with the yogi
what is
seeking
it that
theory.
brings grace?
Well, how do I explain it? Grace happens all the time, but chance favors a well-prepared mind. So, someone might have this amazing spiritual experience and slough it off, or even value it, but it doesn't do any good. But if the groundwork has been done, if you've done your yogic practices, if the ego has been shaved down and whittled down, I mean, the ashram was great for that. There was a lot of, that was rough on the ego. You're burning all the time. It's like, so if things are shaved down enough, then that experience comes, and there's not enough ego left to take it away. And then it just becomes a permanent state, and then you say, oh, look, so-and-so's enlightened. So you see, that's the use of all these practices. If you're really diligent and sincere and willing to go through the hard stuff, then there's the potential that when that experience comes, there's not enough of you to distract enough attention that you would again forget who you are in favor of who you're not. You see? And then it's done. That's all. And it's a very simple process, really. Baba had all these elaborate stories, but it's actually so simple and so just matter of fact. It's effortless. It's really effortless. It's basically the first effortless thing you're ever going to do. it's doing something that gets you into trouble with this. But if it happens and there's no one there to lift a finger, or at least no one that you pay attention to, then it just stays. And then it's just a natural state, of course. It's what's always been here. I was just too busy futzing around to notice. Did that cover that? We'll wait a while, see if someone else makes up a question.
There's one under discussion.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. This is the first time I've ever been here, and I don't even know how to put this, but how do you overcome a confusion if you're confused about something? To, I guess, a truth or a knowing. How do you see that?
Can you be more specific?
I don't know.
Well, a confusion about a concept or a person or.
More in a personal life,
Mhm.
personal life.
Well, you have to use your best discrimination. You may not understand everything, and if you still have to make decisions, you do the best you can. I need a little more specific to go.
I've been in a job for 18 years,
Yeah.
and for 5 years it hasn't been good. And I literally, on Friday, I've kind of been angry. I never hardly rarely cry, but I cried. And I feel like I'm in a bad marriage. It's like I know that I should maybe leave this, but I'm too scared because age, I need health care. You know, one person tells me one thing, I have all these little puppets because I have all these me's going on. But other me's involved too,
Yeah.
So how do you, and I feel like I'm at a doorway where I'm just like hanging on and being dragged, and I know it's like I'm in a bad marriage, and I just keep on thinking, they're going to change and it only gets worse.
Right, it doesn't
And I
happen.
know, it's like, I know this is not getting better.
Here's the
And yet, I continue to stay in that state. So how do you move?
You have to trust that you will leave that job at the exact right moment. Not a moment before, not a moment after. It's like everything is already set up. You may stay. You may leave. But you see, you're nodding your head no, but you have stayed, you see, longer than you thought you would. So just trust that it's in God's hands and that you will make the right decision at the right time and take the correct actions as best as you can, you see? It's like it's already written, your life. It's like it's already happened. If you went to a really good astrologer or psychic, they could tell you exactly what was going to happen. Okay? So move forward with as much faith as you can and do the best you can and have a lot of forgiveness for yourself, for all of it, for all of it, even things that are perceived mistakes. Just be as forgiving as you can with yourself because, look, you have limitations. You have a situation that you've been in a very long time. You have certain attachments and certain hopes, and you see, letting it go is not easy because that's a death, you see. It's a major death. It's a major divorce. It would be difficult in some ways. In other ways, it would open other doors, you see. But I would just recommend that you be as kind to yourself as possible. Be kind to yourself that you haven't left yet. Be kind to yourself when you do leave. And people are going to say whatever they're going to say. And everyone has their own perspective. And it doesn't mean that it's right for you. It doesn't mean that it's wrong for you. So you take everything into consideration. You do the best you can. You make the best decision you can. And then what I say is you swaha. So like in India, they have these yajnas, these fire rituals. And the swamis all sit around and they have all these ingredients in the fire and the fire's going, and those swamis are doing mantras, and then they always go, swaha, and they throw in the ghee, which keeps the fire burning, you see? And so it's like you're putting it into the fire and just letting it go. It just goes into the fire, it's gone, it evaporates in the air. You see? So you be like that with your life, and just remember to be very kind to yourself because it's difficult. It's difficult. There's certain things in life that there are no right decisions, you see? There's certain things that are either way difficult. So as much as possible, be kind to yourself and forgiving and just do the best you can, you see. That'd be my only advice with this. I think you're in a difficult situation. So anyone who's in a difficult situation could use as much loving kindness as possible. So give that to yourself.
Well, I did write down on a dry board because I was so sad. Because I just feel like I'm in this beautiful place. I spend half the time, my job allows me to spend half the time here in Arizona and half the time in Ohio. So I come back and forth. And I'm here in this beautiful place, but this job is zapping all my energy. energy, and I'm not having fun in this beautiful place that I want to be in. And I had to write down on a board that, Sherry, you need to enjoy your time here on earth because you could be dead tomorrow. And I feel like this job is like, I don't know. But you're not help. I mean, I hear the kindness, and I'm just in this state of confusion, and I can't. I feel like I'm moving more to the right of leaving.
Well, you see, I'm not going to give you advice
Well,
on
I
how to
think
run
that's
your
really
personal
right.
life.
I
You-
know, because it's a personal situation.
Right, but what I will do is I'll tell you that no matter what you do, just love yourself through it, okay? And then it'll be okay. All right? Just give yourself lots of love for your situation and for your decisions or even lack of decisions as much as possible. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. Life is what it is. Just do the best you can and let the chips fall where they may. Either way, it doesn't matter, you see. It doesn't matter. And why can't you enjoy life? You're here enjoying yourself, so why not? You don't have to, it's like, work is work, and maybe it's not pleasant. But why not just enjoy your moments, no matter what they are? Then you don't have to worry about that. And you'll make the decision at the right time. It'll happen. It'll happen. But it's not going to happen before the right time. And maybe you're hoping that it would have already happened. But it'll happen at the right time. When for years, I wanted to go to India. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this and this and that. I had a friend in the ashram, and he said, the plane's going to land at the exact right moment. You see? Everything's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And it won't happen before that, no matter what you want. I noticed this in relationships. There can be someone that you really like, and you really want to be with them. And no matter what you do, it just never works out. The timing's bad, the situation's wrong, what you said was taken the wrong way. It just doesn't matter, it just doesn't work out. Then there's someone else who you don't want to be with. And the situation hounds you, and no matter what you do, you can't get out of it. And you end up being with that person. This is how life is. You see? Life, there's a set of karmas that are operating here that are outside of your control. And they determine what's going to happen and when, and in what way. So what you can do is just watch. Watch what happens. And know that it's not entirely in your hands. Okay? And trust that it will happen when it's supposed to happen. And then at least you can, even in this not knowing what to do, you can have some sense of peace about it. You see? You just bring a little bit of faith in there that everything is happening according to God's will. Oh, good. Finally. 3 tries. Mm.
Did I miss anything?
Totally. No, we just sat around and talked about you.
You don't even know me.
That was what made it so much fun.
Guessing, huh?
You just made stuff
Yeah, exactly.
But I am the only one that knows the truth.
Yeah, but we don't care. What time is it?
It's about 22, 20 quarters to.
Anything? Really? Oh,
It's not a potluck, is it?
oh yeah, big one.
I got a bunch of green, organic
Is it,
greens.
you're gonna stay if it's a potluck?
No.
I think there's some vegetables
There's
back there.
plenty of stuff.
In a
Veggies
box.
back there, yeah, Powell vegetables that I hope people
Oh,
will
it's on the
take home.
table.
Oh, it's on the other side of the dining room.
On the
Walk
floor,
back
just
there,
grab
you'll
some.
see. Yeah, please help
If
yourself.
you want them.
To whatever you want. Powell vegetables. Yeah, in a box down there, yeah.
Indigo likes anything that's free. A lot. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'm just thinking, I can relate to that, or what I heard, and that feeling of like, if I don't involve myself in this situation, I might end up, like I'll end up staying in this thing that I don't want to stay in, or whatever it is.
Mhm.
When I first started coming here, that fear was a big one, and trying to lessen the involvement. It was like, that's a bad decision. Like, you're gonna end up, like, what will keep you from, like, hurting yourself or staying in a situation that hurts you or whatever. And I think now I think faith really has to be the thing that is there. Like, you have to believe that it's just all right.
Yeah. Well, so it doesn't mean that you don't make crucial decisions in your life.
Yeah.
So, but it may mean that your guideline for doing it changes a bit, you see. So like that story I talk about with when I was deciding about being with Baba or continuing with my career, and I heard a voice say, "Go with the love in your heart, not the fear in your mind." You see? So the guidelines changed. Big decisions were made. Big consequential decisions. But the guidelines for those decisions had changed, you see, based upon my spiritual priorities. So that's all. That's all. And it doesn't, you still make mistakes, and you still say in situations that you shouldn't, and then you may leave situations, and have questions about, it doesn't matter. Life is life. And there's karmas at play. There's karmas at play. There's things that, like, you don't have to do anything, and things are going to happen anyway. Because there's this energy in this temporary world of things that cause things to happen, and particularly to you, based upon whatever you came in with, you see. So that's just the nature of it, and so things are still going to happen. And some of them will be pleasurable and some won't. And that's just the nature of it. So you don't have to worry. There are people who use some of these teachings in ways that are not helpful. You see, because minds just use things for their own purposes. That's what minds do. Minds are very self-oriented, and they have their own agenda. And so, a mind, I know my mind, when I was on the spiritual path, I saw Baba, these guys were happy all the time. They didn't have sadness, they didn't have anger. I didn't know what to do with my sadness and anger. The very first time I was at the ashram, I went to a Swami, and I said, "What do I do with anger?" He goes, "What do you mean, what do you do with anger?" And I said, "Well, what do I do about it?" He said, "You don't do anything about it." I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I saw Baba, he had no idea, it was all gone, right? It was bullshit too, because he could get pissed. But I didn't see it. But you see, personal motivation. I didn't want to have to deal with any of that stuff. I didn't want to have to deal with those unpleasantries. And it looked like I was being offered a way out. I was wrong, but that's what it looked like because I was still personally motivated. And everyone is. Everyone has conditions. Everyone's willing to be in bliss and all the time as long as they don't have to be sad and angry. What if you could be in bliss and be sad and angry? That's all. Yeah, so don't worry about it. The karmas will still go. Even for an enlightened being, there's still karmas. You see? Even if there's no new ones being created, there's ones you came in with. There's still things happening around you that are already set up. Such is the way of it. So we'll sit quietly for a short time. And thank you for coming.